You gotta get into the groove.
Hello, section of Groove Leaders Unite, and my name is Peter Moinero, and I'm coming at you from New Zealand, and we're actually Thursday afternoon at 2 p.m. So no doubt over where, if you're in the States, you'll be the day before or the night before. But yeah, if you're joining me live, put a hashtag live into the comments, and if you're actually watching the replay after later on, put a hashtag replay. And make some comments, ask any questions in there while you're joining me live, and I will do my best to actually answer them as I go through today's session. Now, today's session is really about GroovePages and the element called tabs. I'm not too sure if you're familiar with it and what it does, but we're going to go through it. If you do know what it does and you have actually set it up, then great. But for those who don't actually know how to implement it, then that's what this is about today. Let me just have a look in the chat. So here we've got Nancy. Good to have you, Nancy. Thank you for joining us. And of course, Tyra, thank you for your support. Dr. Lisa, again, thank you for support. It's good to have you guys here. Nancy says hashtag live. Awesome. Dr. Lisa is coming from, greetings from Baltimore, Maryland in USA. And we also have Tyra, who is there as well. Where have we got? Johan. Johan is here from Brisbane. So Johan is actually joining us from Australia. Johan, I don't know if you watched the game the other day for the rugby league, but I think my Panthers beat the Brisbane Broncos. So I'm not sure if you're a Brisbane fan or not, but anyway. Let's get on with it. Who else we got? Well, yes, Tyra, yes, Ohio, and she's doing, and she's got the hashtag live as well. Cool, awesome, good to have you guys here. Okay, now, like I said, if you haven't done tabs before, you're going to learn how to do that. It's fairly simple, to actually implement, and I use it, and I'll give you an example soon. But I use it to actually probably, not so much have a crowded website, if you like, especially on the first page. I do a lot of one-page websites for businesses because it's a lot more cost-effective for them, and it's a lot more quicker for me to do too as well. But when they start outgrowing themselves, like a couple of the businesses that I've actually done websites for, they've started to outgrow themselves, then there's a tendency to put more information on the website. Sometimes I have to maybe look at adding more pages, or sometimes just actually putting something in there that will actually hold more information but not make the website look too crowded, if you know what I mean. So we're going to go through that, but let me just show you an example of a website. So I'm going to just bring it up. Where are we? Yep. Okay, and it's a stage. Hopefully you guys can all see that. Where are we? I need to do this. There we go. All right. Okay, so just change the tabs here. This is the client's website. He has actually got quite a bit of information on his website, so he's got a lot more pages there. But on the main page, I really wanted to sort of like be able to fit some of the most important information about the business on the main page, but I didn't want it to look too cluttered. And as you can see here, here's an example of a tab element. And one of the things that I know about this business and its owner, and I know him quite well, is that he's always about family, and he's always about safety first when it comes to vehicles. And that's a message that he always gives every time I see him. That's the type of thing, that's the type of person he is. So I felt it was important to actually have that information on the main page, really, because I didn't really want it to sort of be lost in all these other pages here. I mean, I could have put it on about our dad, but I decided I wanted that part on here. And as you can see, we've got the family one that comes up first. Then the next tab is actually services, and then insurance, and then there's a video on this one here, and then there's a career opportunity. All right, so if I was to add this all onto the actual whole page, then it'll look quite full. I really wanted it to be kind of like a simple design, and didn't look like there was too much text going on and images and all that, to the point that the person had to keep scrolling down to actually to get more information, or to look at some of the things that there was on the website. I just felt too as well, this was more, it drew people in, just having this kind of tab effect that drew people in, rather than having to scroll down and not take too much notice of what they're looking at. But here, when they come to the main page here, I mean, the first thing they're going to see is the hero image, right? And then, of course, we've got all the different types of models, makes and models that the business actually services. And then we've got this. So that's what we're going to go over. I do actually have another client who's starting to outgrow their website, in a sense. They're starting to actually add more into what they're actually providing as far as the services, and also things like coupons and specials and stuff like that. So and we're gonna be using that as our example today. Let's see what else is going on in the comments here. All right, cool. All right, I'm gathering no one's actually complaining about not being able to see anything or hear anything. So I'm gathering that you guys are all actually hearing me, and you're all actually seeing the what I've got up on my screen. So that's cool. Anyway, let me shoot back to here, to this page here. Now, this is my gallery here. Obviously, this is where I've got all my websites, and you will probably see that there are a few cloned websites as well, just to make sure that I've got a backup for them. All right, so the one that I'm going to be looking at doing today is this one here, which is the HGD detailing. All right, so they're a car detailer. They're actually making a huge name for themselves. They've got a lot of 5-star reviews, so that's really good. And just to give you a example of what their website looks like. Okay, so what's actually happening now is that they're starting to get more and more services added to what they actually do. So as you can see here, a long time ago, they wanted to actually add this as a product that they could sell, just to the general market. And now they've actually come up with products like minor dent removal service, as well as upholstery repairs, and all those sorts of things. So, and headlight, what do you call it? Rejuvenation, or making sure that your headlights are all nice and clear. So those sorts of things. So they're adding to their service, and which means that okay, I could actually do another page for this if I really wanted to, but I feel that we're not at that point. These are not pages, by the way. They're just sections on the main page, on the home page. So these are not pages. So I kind of came up with the idea that, okay, let's just have a look at this one here, where we've got that. Instead of actually just having that by itself, let's put it into a tab, so that it's actually when they select, like I showed you on the other one, they select that particular product to have a look at it, then they can select the next product and service or whatever it is, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to actually turn this area here into a tab. Hopefully you guys are all with me on this one. All right. I'm really trusting that everybody can actually see this and can actually hear. Okay, yes, Nancy just said, yes, we see. Cool. Awesome. Right, let's go to the back end of this. All right, so here we are. I'm going to go into manage site. Now, just remember, when you actually make some significant changes to a website on Groove here, make sure you do always delete the last clone copy and then recreate another clone so that you're always up to date, right? You're always up to date with the cloned or the latest updates with the website. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat as well as talk to the camera as well. So we're just waiting for this to come up. By the way, anybody, let me know if you have actually used the tab element for anything in terms of your website, and if you have, what have you used it for? Have you used it for services? Have you used it for I know categories? What have you used? Because there's a whole lot of range of different things that you can use it for, right? But yeah. Now, if you recall, a few weeks back, I think it was, we did one on pop-ups as well, and how you could also save space or actually not make a website look crowded by using pop-ups to actually, show more information about a particular service or product on a website. So that's another space saver. Tyra can see and hear. Thanks, Peter. Thank you, Tyra. All right, here we are. Okay. Well, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click on that block here. I'm going to add another one. So I'm just going to add a block. Now, you can use an empty block and a tab element, or you can also use a block with tabs. Right? And I think when you come into here, to the designer section here, because there's designer, there's modern, there's wireframe, right? When you come into the designer section here, there's already a block that has tabs. So you could do that if you want to, or you could do it the other way. Now, I'm going to do both just because I want to show you how you can create it without using the block, because it gives you an idea just how it actually is constructed. This one only has 3 tabs, so if you want more than that, and that's pretty much all I need anyway, but this one has actually 3 tabs. Now, the other thing is that if you're not too sure about responsiveness and things like that, my suggestion is, and if you haven't got any, well, it doesn't matter if you've got any more than 3 tabs, is pick this one here. So if I chose that one there, and you can see the already a pre-made tab. Now, the thing that you need to do here is that you need to click on tabs container there. When you click on that, come into settings and select a tab, and then what have we got here? Hang on, sorry. Let me just try that again. Let's go to there, select container, not tab. Oh, that's a link. Try this one here. Oh, that's a link too. Okay, tab container. All right, so what we've got here, tabs content is what I think we're after. Yeah, okay. Tabs content. So if you're going to actually get the tabs content, you really do need to click on the inside of the whole container here, so that you can actually see tabs content, right? So we're going to click on that. Okay, now that gives us this here, that kind of red borderline around here, which is the tabs content within the container. Okay, so if you click on the config there, then you see like tab content 1, 2, 3, and 4. Cool. So it's got four tabs, but it looks like it's only showing 3, to be quite honest. Yeah, only showing 3. All right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start with the first one here. So in order to actually to edit all this, we need to add an image. And again, I'm going to show you both how to do one right from scratch and how to use this one here. Okay, so I'm going to grab an image. and just find an image. So the first one I'm going to grab is this one here, which is the one that's actually that is showing on the main page at the moment currently. Now, I'm mindful about sizing here. So once we get this up here, let's just take a look at the size. We may need to chop that down a wee bit. Yeah, quite a bit. So I'm going to bring this down to around about maybe we'll make it 550. There's no rhyme or reason why I've done that other than I don't want it too big because it's just the amount of resource it takes up. Although it actually gets converted into WebP format, I still feel it was a bit too big. Okay, so we're just going to update that. Now you can see there the image is actually quite small. Maybe we want to make that a little bit. In fact, maybe we want to make the whole thing a little bit bigger, the tab thing. So let's just go into container here, and let's go to size. All right, now we've got percentage here. It's at 50% anyway, so let's just make that a little bit bigger. Actually, we'll go probably about 90. Kind of falls in line. Wait, actually, hang on. Okay, maybe there. All right, so we got the image there. It's not too bad considering the fact that we don't really need a big image, right? So we could make it a little bit bigger if we wanted to. And by all means, ask questions as I go. I'm actually literally keeping an eye on the chat here, just in case people are actually asking me questions. All right, so what I might do here is, let's just have a look at the margin. I'm going to come into the tabs content. Is it? Yeah, or maybe the container tabs content. So long as I've got this part here outlined, all right, and I'm just going to have a look at the spacing. Okay, so we've got quite a bit of margin there. I might just cut it down a wee bit and make them all the same. And let me just try, say, we'll just try 20. Okay, cool. We've cut that down a wee bit. Actually, we might just make top and bottom a little bit more. We'll make those 30. Just so it kind of makes it look a little bit even all around, maybe 25. All right, okay. I'm kind of thinking we may need some more height on that. So once again, let's go to size. Let's go to container, tabs container. No, let's go to try that one. I hope you can see that I'm actually going to different levels on the container down here where the breadcrumbs are. So if you, hopefully you can see that. I want to see if I can actually increase the height on this. Maybe I need to select the whole lot. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm going to try relative to parent. And yeah, I don't know if I can get much height on this one here. Let's try this again. Let's try that. Okay, so the width is static. I want to actually put that into percentage. And then we'll come back to here. Height, let's try relative to parent. All right. No, that's not going to actually make any difference either. So I think with the height there, we might, we're going to have some issue trying to get the height, you know, to play around with the height here. But I really do actually want to get it higher than what it is, like a more height on it than what it is. And maybe, I went fixed maybe. problem with fixed is that what's going to happen is that you're going to have some issues with responsiveness. So I think what we might do is see if we can actually make this a little bit smaller, this actual content area here, and not as wide. Okay, try that. You'll notice with this, there's a lot of actually playing around with it, and you know, there's no real way to do it other than actually playing around with it, because what actually happens is that at different stages, like at different levels here. Now, I might be confusing people here, but I just want to mention that at different points, you can change the size or the width or the height. But let's see if I can get this done, and then we'll just I'll go over it again so that you can see how it's done. I'm going to make this one here pure default. And nothing changes there. Okay. Go here, container. Yeah. Really want the inside of it to extend the height of the inside. And I need to actually be able to do that with the container. Let's try the fixed height again. See, that's gone height too high. It's kind of where I want it, but yeah, I'm not too sure that's going to actually work properly with what I hadn't planned. But let's just try this. All right. It's not going to really work on that one. I think because this is actually already formatted, that's probably not going to actually have change the height for me. So, but anyway, look, if you were actually doing something similar to this, maybe the same size, whatever, this is what you will probably use as the tab here in terms of what I'm trying to achieve here. So let's just get everything back into where it was before. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's just restart again. And we'll just start with a new block with a new tab in it. Okay. All right. That way, then we don't have to worry about what we've just shown you before. Yeah. Okay. Tabs there, because the whole idea is just to show you how you could use this tab. This element already pre-done. Let's get rid of this one here. All right. So if you're just using the tab here, there is no real way of actually really getting the height to where I want it to be, but that's okay. Okay, let's just grab that image again. And there, we're just going to make this 550 again. Boom. The margin is what we're going to be here. The margin we're going to, or this padding, I should say, that's going to be 25. And these two here are going to be 20. Okay. And I think all I can really do here is, can't really do much with the image, but container. Let's just see if we can do the container. Not really. Okay. Let's go back out again. Oops. One more. Try one more. Percentage. I'm just clicking all these because it'll sometimes, yeah, one more. All right. We'll do it like that. Okay. So literally I can put all the text here if I wanted to about that particular thing. And I mean, in a sense, that's, you know, that's okay. It's not too bad. But at the end of the day, I do want it bigger. Let's just make that text white. All right, there. All right, and then just copy and paste or type whatever your text is going to be there. There's your image there. We probably want to make the width a little bit less than what it is at the moment. So let's see if we can get this back down again to there. So that we just got kind of like an even sides there. So that's okay. So this is essentially should be tab 1. Okay, so let's just have a look here. So we've got tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. We need to make sure that it's linked up with that particular one. Container. Tabs, content block. One more up. Okay, so tab, content 1. So if you can see here, all right, we're on the tab content. So in that particular tab, that's the content there. Now, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we actually match it up with the actual label. All right, so when you click on here, so you can see here I'm on tabs content, right, which is the content within that tab. And then that tab content is within a container. Right, but we are just focusing on the tab content. Okay, so now that we've got that selected, we've got to go to here, which is the configuration. And we need to make sure that tab content 1 is actually connected with the actual label at the top there, which is tab 1. And then click on that, right? And then update. So now what will happen is that when you click on that one, it's going to come to here. Now tab content 2, right? Here. Right, so now what we're going to put in there, we need an image there. I'm going to grab an image. And I will choose this one here. Well, actually, hang on, I'll grab another one. All right. Products. Sorry, guys, you can't see this. I'm just trying to choose one. Okay. All right. Okay, let's choose this one here. Okay. I think the size for this was around about 600 by 600, which was probably the recommended size. So let's just see what we've got here. So, okay, can you see here that these have got two different sizes. So it's not square. But the thing is, there's not much of a margin between the two, right? So you can literally, what you can do, and I will probably do this to the height rather than to the width, but what I'm going to do is, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to actually change this to 600. And you can see it's got 619. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take the lock off. And then I'm just going to make that 600. All right. Okay. And there's not much difference whatsoever. So it's very marginal. You won't even notice the size, so the size difference. So I'm going to crop it. and then it will go into there. And then update. Okay, cool. All right, again, now we'll just, whatever that product is going to be, we're going to name it, obviously. Let's just make all the text white there. And then there, I'm not going to bother with the names or the text. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'll revisit it later on. Now, again, we need to make sure that the tab content, all right, the tab content is linked up with the tab label up the top here. All right, so let me just click off here. It's got to be linked up with tab 2. All right. So again, we're going tabs, content, come up to here. All right, let's just make sure we go to tab content, click on that, and then we make sure that that's selected, tab 2. All right, and then update. Tab head, yeah, update. All right, tab 3. Let's do another product here. Okay, and get another image. See if I can find some more images here. Okay, let's do this one here. Again, we'll make sure we've got a square size on this one here. It's a little bit oblong. I mean, and that's probably too much of a big difference there. So I think we might leave it in terms of like not making it square, but I will actually make it less. So I'm going to actually put over here 600 for the height. Okay, and then crop. Okay, and we've got that in there. All right, again, whatever the service is. Let's make this white. So remember, we are actually using the pre-made tab. All right, now the thing is, we do actually, and then we're just going to come up to here. Make sure that that tab content number 3 is actually linked up to the label 3. Cool. All right, cool. And then just update. Now, if you notice, there were actually 4, right? There were 4 links to, so there was a tab 4 as well, but there's not a tab 3 on here. Sorry, not a tab 4 on here. There's only goes up to tab 3. So let's just actually sort this out. So we're on the tab heads. Okay, we're going to go here and we're going to add one more tab. Okay, because there were actually 4 links. I mean, you can have 3. It doesn't really worry. I mean, if there's only enough for 3, then just do 3. But what I'm showing you is how you can add a tab. All right, so we're just going to add one more, and we're just going to call that tab 4. I'm just going to copy and paste that and change the 3. All right, tab 4, and then update. So now we've got a tab 4 over here. I mean, you can see that it's actually a little bit looks different, right? So what we need to do is we need to actually figure out how these are all actually been done. So if I have a look at tab 3, I'll come over to spacing. You can see it's got a spacing of 28 on either side and 12 on the top, and this is on the inside of the tab, not on the outside. All right, and then so what we're going to do is we're going to do that here. So we're going to go 28, 28, and 12. So come over to here. Spacing is 28 there, and then here is 12. Let's take those ones off so that we can get a little bit more uniform, right? And the color, all right, let's just try and change the color. So the selected color, which is this one here, we want that same color. So what we're going to do, I don't think that's the color there, that's just white. So this color here, which is this color here, obviously, we're going to click on that, come down here and just click on the check mark so that we can add that color to the recent colors, and we can also add it to the favorites as well. Okay, so we can just do that. All right, so let's just change the color here. Click on there, and there's the favorite color there, and it's just that. Okay, now there's obviously some spacing in between these two here. Now let's just have a quick look here. See, so the spacing is not actually on the button. Okay, so the spacing must be, where are we? Container, right? Tabs, oops. Tabs, container, spacing. Let me just check here. There it is, 24. So 24 is the spacing there. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to add 24 over here. All right, so now we're pretty much, I mean, the font looks a bit too big, but let's just have a look at the font. It's just default 14. Let's make that one 14 there. All right, I mean, if you wanted to do the same color as the text there, you can, but that literally has just set up another tab, right? But what we need to do is that we actually need to have the container, have another container for it. So let's just see what we've got here. Container, oops, right, yeah, container. All right, let me just see, click onto there. Let's see if I can add one. Where have we got that? Oh, sorry, we're actually on a different one there. Sorry, I actually thought this was part of it, but here, look, we've got nothing in there, right? We've got nothing in there. So what we're going to do is that, I'm wondering if I can actually do this, is let's see if we can actually get that in there, which I don't think we can, but let me just try. I'm gonna copy this container content block, and let me just see if I can copy this and then drag and drop into that container. No, I don't think I can. All right, let me go backtrack here. We're just going to have to do this one on our own. So we've got these ones that are filled up, just tab 4 that we need to actually do. So let's just get an element, and I'm going to go to column element and just put it in there. Okay. And oh, hang on, let me just have a look at this. Sorry guys, no, let's go backtrack here, come back to here again. We do actually really need to somehow add a block in there. Try that one. That's not going to go in there. So what we need, we actually need, we need something like this here. Let's just try see if we can drag and drop it into there. No, won't go in there. Tab heads. I might just drag and drop that into there, I think. Unless I'll just get rid of it. This stuff can get a little bit tricky when you're trying to add things in. I know tabs is not, sometimes it's not the easiest one to actually put in, sometimes it is, but I'm just going to go with the element. What I did before, I'm just going to drag and drop that into there, and then we're just going to go with the element. Somehow. I had it before. Doesn't look like it's going to stay in there. Therefore, we've got that there. We actually do have tabs there, but then we did actually have four links here, which I need to try and sort of figure out what they've done here. So there's 4 there. Tab content. There's actually 4 tabs, contents. All right, but I can't seem to get it to work. Try that. I really do think that we'll probably just leave it at 3 rather than 4. But what I'm trying to do is get this element in within the block, the content block, so that we can actually have that element in there. But I can do it on a one from scratch. But what I'm going to do here, I am just going to get rid of that tab, to be quite honest, because I don't think we're going to need it anyway in this particular demonstration. So let's just do that. Oops. I click in there. Get rid of this one. And then we'll just get rid of the tab here. All right, look, here we go. What have we got here? I can see here. Okay, Peter, I always love to see it. Yeah. All right, we're going to get rid of this one. We're going to get rid of tab 4 because we don't really need it in this demo. All right, because really, if I want to do more than 3 tabs, I should just do it from scratch. But anyway, look, at the end of the day, those are your different tabs, right? So you got tab 1, and when you click on them, just got to make sure that the tab content is connected with the label, and then tab 3, of course, as well. All right, let's just get rid of this thing here too. And the container. All right, so and then that way, then, so if we come into, I don't know if this is going to show up on a preview, but let's just have a quick look. When it decides to work. All right, I'm just waiting for this preview to happen. I'm not sure if it's going to happen or not. Preview is not working. Oh, I'm just going to save this. I'm going to save this. Oh, here we go. Now it's working. And you can't see it. There we go. I've lost contact with it. Let me just share it again. All right, this is playing tricks on me at the moment. That one. Okay. All right, so this is the preview. And there you can see, I mean, you would do different colors on the tab and different fonts and stuff like that, but basically those are 3 tabs. Now, probably in this case, I would probably need 4, but which is why I tried to add another tab. But if you just really wanted to, if you only really got 3 tabs that you can use, that you want to use, then this is ideal. This is all set up for it. All right. Basically, all you got to do is actually add the images and whatever the content is, and then change, do the color and the font on here as well. And you can easily do that by just coming up to here. Let me just share this tab by coming into here. All right, and then here. All right, the background, I'm going to do it like this there. So the background is grey. All right, it looks like the active, when you actually click on it, is this color here. Okay, and when you hover over it, there's no, I don't think there's any color. But so the background is grey. You may want to make it like, in this case, I'm just going to make it red. There, I'm going to make the text white, but I'm also going to make it a bit more bolder. White, bold, and I'm going to, in terms of the active, there. In terms of the active, I just want to change that color. Oh, that's the text, actually, the background. In terms of the active, I want to change that color to black. No, hang on. We'll make it kind of that color there. All right, and so there. So now I've got a red tab with white font, and then when I click on it, it's going to go grey. All right, so let's just do the same for the rest of them as well. Background. We're making that red, and the font is going to be white with bold. There, and then we'll go off that. So now they're off that. That's red. Now, in terms of that, we're going to go back to background again, active, and then we're going to make that that color there. And again, same here. Background red, and we'll make that active, that color. Let's go back to the text. The text is white, and we're going to make it bold. All right. Oh, and then this one here, text white, and then bold. All right, so now we've got the red there, but what you notice here, we've got a border around this one. Okay, so sometimes I like using borders, sometimes I don't. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to click on the container here, and you can see it's got a border that we're on the right container here because this is lit up. So that means that the borders around there on this one, on this particular part of the container, so the tabs content. So we're going to go into border, and I just want to get rid of, actually, that line that's up the top there, I want to get rid of that. In fact, I want to get rid of all the lines. So all I'm going to do is kind of come onto width here, and I'm just going to play with this and then make it all 0. All right, no color there. All right, so there is no lines whatsoever. Okay, now let's have a look at that again. And I think it's going to lose connection again because I've shared the tab. I may have to stop share and then share again. Okay, stop share. I will share again. Share screen. Okay. Share. All right. Oh, there we go. All right, so let's go down to that area that we were doing. And there you go. All right, so that one is active because it's on grey, and then we go to the next one there and there. All right, so that's one way of doing it. If you've got more tabs, then you need to probably just recreate the whole thing. So let's just quickly do that now. I'm going to get rid of all these other tabs that I've got open first. Okay. And let's just share screen again. All right. Any questions? Put them in the chat if you've got some questions. Okay. So here we are again in the back end. I'm going to leave that one there for now. I'm just going to add another block. All right. So I'm just going to add a empty block. All right. Like that. Like so. All right. So we've got an empty container. In the elements, I'm going to come up to here, and I'm going to go down to tabs container, and I'm going to just drag and drop that into there, like so. Then I'm going to go tab content, like so, and then tab heads. All right, so have I done that right? No, I haven't. Let me just, I need to actually, I think there's a text there that's actually can't see. No. All right, anyway, let's grab a block. Okay, so on this one here, I'm going to grab an empty block and I'm going to grab this one. Okay, just going to go up again. Tabs container, layout. We are actually missing tab heads, so let me just see if I can grab that. They don't really make this too user friendly. Let's just try this again. All right. We'll do this again. I'm going to get rid of that one there. Okay, and add a block. I think this time here, let's just have a look. Let's go to wireframe. No, it doesn't actually have it there either. Empty blocks. Design empty blocks. Okay. We may try it with the tab heading first. All right. Nothing in there, but okay. And let's just see if we can grab the other ones here. I might just actually just drag and drop the what do you call it? Instead of doing the tabs, oh no, we can. Oh no, we will do the tabs container as well. There. Yep. All right. Okay. Cool. All right, and then we want to actually contain that content. All right, drop a block here. Okay, so let's just add a block. I am going to add one of these here. Cool. And all right, here we go. So now we've got like one block. There's two tab contents, if you like, list. So what we want to do is we want to add maybe 4 there. Okay, so we've got one block there. And let's see if we can go onto here again. There. One more up, I think. Select tab. Okay, hang on. And then we've got one more up. One more again. Okay. Get a bit lost here. Hang on. Tab contents. All right, let's add some more here. Okay, update. Problem is I can't actually see, I can't see any labels. This is the problem. I'm not sure what's going on here. 4. Why did they not update? There's one of those moments where I don't know whether it's me or whether it's actually the element, but what we need to do now is we actually need to start trying to figure out where I'm going to start putting some images in here. So I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to go down to image, and I think what we'll do is we'll get as far as maybe doing two blocks, and then we'll call it quits because everything else will actually be the same after that. So I'm just going to drag and drop an image in here, the image placeholder, and then I'm just going to grab some text. Oh my gosh, what's happening? I'm going to grab some text from elements, title, and a paragraph. I don't know where it's gone now. Where's it going there? There. Oh my gosh, where did it go? There. Okay. I'm actually having problems with this with the platform at the moment, so I'm not sure what's going on. But it's not behaving. Yeah. Okay. So title and text. I think there's a title up there too as well. Image. I'm going to make that center. Grab an image. Don't think about live when you're doing live, because you guys will probably have the same issues as what I'm having at the moment. And it's good to know that, like, it's not just you that's actually, you know, having issues with it, or, you know, it's not working properly for you. So, and I kind of think that's what's happening for me at the moment. All right. So now, see, my image is a bit bigger now because I've been able to actually change the blocks and, you know, the size where in terms of like the 2 columns, I can get the type of size of image I want now. Before I can do that. All right. So Tina block tabs content. All right. So what we need to do then is we need to container, select tab. Yeah, we don't actually have the tab. We don't actually have the tab labels in there for some reason. I'm not sure why. Tab content. No questions here, says Tyler. Well, you know, I think that at the end of the day, my suggestion is to stay with the one that's already pre-done. The only thing that you got to live with is the fact that you got a smaller image and more text on the other side, which is not too bad. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create, trying to be able to create a bigger image, sort of evened out on each side, rather than actually having one small image and then a large area for text. And this should actually have labels. Okay, I'm going to try one more thing here, guys. I did actually put this in before, but I'm not sure why it's not working. And I don't think it's going to work. Let me just go back one there. The whole idea is to really get this to connect with, I can't even do anything on this, is to actually, sorry guys, this is actually playing up. So this is actually playing up for me, this whole thing. Every time I try and do something, it's moving around, which is not good. Tab content, tabs content, tabs container. This is what we're after. We're after this here, right? We're after these two, this here. So that should be able to go just on the above, which is what I've been trying to do here. So if we probably try maybe the container here, or even here, and then try and drag and drop the elements into there. I'm not sure if we can or not. Then it's a matter of actually connecting that up with the different tabs or the different blocks. And I don't know if it's going to. Yeah, so what's happening, right? And I'll tell you this much now. What's happening is every time I come onto this one here, and then I try and drag that element in there, it's not taking to it. Maybe I'll try this one here. It goes back to the image. Having said that, look, I've done a ton of these before, so I'm not sure why it's actually done this, but why it's misbehaving like this. But I would say the safest option now is just to use the actual pre-done tab, and you can't go wrong with that one by the looks of it. But I just cannot get this to actually take include the tab labels or heads, if you like, going in there. And they should actually go above this part here, the two columns, but it's not doing it. What I want, where I want, is that is the beauty of a replay. I can replay as many times. I don't know if you want to replay this as many times as you want to, Tyler. But anyway, look, I'm sure I'll get this sorted, and I'm not sure why it's actually doing what it's doing. However, you saw the first part, and my suggestion is if you want to do the tabs, then watch the first part of this session, and then use that the 3-column tab. Not the 3-column tab, sorry, the 3-tab container. Use that, and if that's all you need to use, and I'll probably will do the same for this one anyway. But at the end of the day, I'm sure we'll get this sorted, and I may even just touch on it next week once it is sorted, and then you guys will see what I was trying to do. But this is a good way to actually have more control over how many tabs you can have, and also the space that you have for images as well as for text. The other one was you were a little bit restricted. Okay, guys, that's me for this week. Unfortunately, we didn't get to that part where I wanted to get to, but that's okay. You know, the other thing is that I didn't actually test this out before I went on air today, but hey, that's not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, when you do go into these to set these things up, you know, you'll probably have similar similar issues to what I'm having. And like I said, I've done a ton of these, and it's not working for me today. So, you know, there may be something that's not, I may have overlooked, or there's something that's not quite, there may be an issue in the back end. I'm not too sure. But at the end of the day, you've got an alternative there anyway. But thanks for joining me. I'm just going to take this off, stop the share screen. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
You gotta get into the groove.